So in this video, we have a woman who's been married for almost 10 years, right? And she's now deciding to get a divorce. So let's hear what she has to say, and then I'll share my thoughts.
I'm choosing divorce. Firstly, hi, my name's Aaliyah. I have 2 boys and I was months away from 10 whole years of marriage. I do want to briefly say I started social media 2.5 years ago, accidentally, and people are like, no, nothing's accidental. No, it isn't. I posted it to my friends, it went viral, I chose to run with it, okay? Since then, I've shared lots of things with you guys. You've even seen me grow my family on the internet with my last baby, Jedi. So now social media is a career. When choosing to walk away from my marriage, I constantly wrestled with the idea of how am I going to share it? Will I share it at all? Will I do the thing where no one talks about it and then just moves on and deletes every comment that suggests?
I'm going to say this, man. Fellas, stay away from these chicks that are heavy on social media. And you know when you see it, right? Like you could, like if you meet a girl, obviously you get her, her social media, and obviously if you've seen movie pics all over the place, then you already know what you're dealing with, right? That's recreational use only. If she has it on private, that's a good thing. If she's not on it, that's even great. But a chick that's on social media that's heavy on there, and obviously you got to make that determination on like how heavy use that they're using it. But when you're dealing with a female on social media, they're always going to compare what they see on social media to their situation, right? And as a guy, it's impossible to compete with that, right? Because there's always someone with a better life on social media than what that person has. So you can't compete with that. And when, obviously she said, she was married for 10 years and then 2 years ago, she got on social media and she started being active on it, and one of her videos went viral. And from there she went, she went used it as a career path. And now all of a sudden now she's getting divorced. And you can make the argument, if that's the reason or not, but I mean, you can make an assumption, right? We're just making an assumption based on what we're listening to. But for me personally, that's how I go about it. If I meet a girl and she's heavy on social media, then right off the bat, I'm like, all right, is this a girl that I might get serious with, or this just I don't see this as long term? And I'll make that determination and that's just one way, using social media, right? That's the easy way to be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna make the determination based on what I see on social media. So if a girl's heavy on social media, man, that is a red flag for me, and I would choose not to deal with that, right? But that's just me.
Suggest otherwise. Do I just stay silent, or do I just own it? And although I've shared many things across the years, I have made it absolutely known that this will be nothing more than authentic. I won't do anything that isn't true or factual. So although I'll get ready with you, I'll share a good OOTD, I'm really sharing my life, my honest truth, my reality. And I just had a feeling that the world would behave the way it behaved when a woman said, no, I don't want this anymore. Because apparently, as women, we can't say that. We shouldn't say that. If we're not being or beaten, stay there. Doesn't matter how you feel, stay there. That is the way that society thinks.
Women love playing they love being victims, man. They love being victims. Oh, society said we can't do this. Society can't do that. Look at me. You can do whatever you want, right? You're free to do whatever you want. However, you're not free from criticism. And this goes for both men and women. It goes for anybody, right? You can do whatever you want. However, you're not free from the criticisms that go on in society, right? You want to act a certain way. Guess what? People get to criticize you based on what you're doing, based on your actions. And we all have to deal with it. It's not just a female thing. We all have to deal with it, right? We all have to operate within the same society. Okay, I can't be on social media and be like, oh, why they get mean comments? Why do people comment and say bad things? Look, if I don't like that people comment, guess what? I could get off social media and get off YouTube. Right? I know what comes when it comes to being on YouTube. However, the fact that you're gonna play this victim, like, oh my God, we can't say this, we can't say that. You can say whatever you want. However, you are not free from criticism. So don't play that victim stuff because no one cares. All right, that's the way the world works. We all have to operate within the same society. You either choose to deal with it or you don't. So it's annoying.
I just hate that. So I've chosen to share it and empower anyone else who feels like me. But also, let's make it a norm. I'm not normalizing divorce. I'm normalizing choosing yourself and your happiness over a marriage just because marriage is okay in society. Like,
I love how women justify there's certain behaviors. Like, I'm not normalizing divorce, I'm just choosing me. Like, what does that mean? Like, as a guy, I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's just me. Like, what does that mean? When I hear that, I hear selfishness, because you're married and you have 2 children. It is no longer about you. It's about those children, right? But for a lot of women, it's just like, you know what, it's very selfish. It's like, you know what, I'm unhappy in this marriage. I'm just going to leave, right? As if children aren't affected by this, right? You don't think about the children. It's about you and your happiness, okay? And it's just like, I'm choosing me. I'm normalizing divorce, but I'm choosing me. Like, what does that mean? I just hear when I hear that, I just think of a selfish person, right? And it's just that I just love how they use these words, and they find a way to soften what the bad behavior they're doing. Just like, I'm not normalizing divorce. What I'm doing, I'm just choosing me, which sounds very selfish.
Stop. So I'm owning it. I've owned it. I'm getting a divorce. Doesn't matter what you say in the comments. And on my last post, everybody took the three words of three lines that I wrote and ran with it. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that lots of them who ran with it aren't even married, because they can't understand, they won't understand, and that's okay. But as a married woman of almost 10 years, soon to be divorced, I can tell you, marriage, good or bad, holds this safety net of internal validation, external validation, and society just thinks, oh, you're married, great. Do you know how many people say, well done for you for being married? They don't even know how my marriage is. It's insanity. Stop. So good, bad, or ugly, we're just supposed to stay in it.
I tell you, I'm again, man. When you hear this stuff, it's just like, all right, what's the point, right? Because clearly, a lot of these women, like, they're not built to just stay within marriages for long term, right? It's just like, you know what, and look at, I'm not, like I said, I'm not married, right? Like, I just see the previous people before, and they've been married people have been married for a long time, and I'm not saying that people are always happy within their marriage, but they understand it's a sacrifice, right? It's a duty. Okay, you're doing it because you're doing it as a duty, right? You decided to stay with this person. You shared your vows, and you say, I'm gonna stay with this person till death do us part, whatever that means. It seems that it doesn't mean anything that much anymore, but you decided to make that commitment, right? And for a lot of women, it's just that, you know what, I'm not happy anymore. I feel a certain way, and it's crazy that, you know, when it comes to this marriage stuff, it's based off the whim of an emotion, right? Whatever that woman feels is just like, you know what, I don't feel happy anymore. It's time to move on. If that's the case, then what is the point of men even committing? Like, what's the point of men even deciding to get married? There's no point, because then the woman can just say, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore, and then leave, take half your stuff, take the kids, and it's just like, what is the guy supposed to do? So for a lot of guys, they just get to a point where it's just like, all right, you know what, if I want a family, I'm just going to have a family. I'll find a woman, have kids with them, but I never marry them. Because I look at it this way, right? This whole relationship stuff is about leverage, okay? It's about leverage, right? If you want leverage, the way you get leverage as a man is you either, don't get married, or you have a prenup, right? If you have assets, just get prenup. Obviously, if you decide to have children, you lose a little leverage with the children. However, at least you have a little bit of leverage and say, you know what? If we don't decide to break apart, I don't lose half my stuff. All right. And I look at it, it's like, make sure you have leverage. It's like, either, find a girl that you have kids with, but you never get married, or at the very least, have a prenup. Because clearly for a lot of these women, like, marriage doesn't mean anything anymore. It just doesn't. They just say, you know what? It's about me. It's about my happiness. I'm going to move on. And if that's the system we're operating in, then men are adapting to it. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna opt out, not date women, which is, obviously sad, or, decide not to get married, or at the very least get a prenup so I can at least protect myself. And these are the options for a lot of men, and it is what it is, because when you listen to her, it's just like, it's all about her. And a lot of women feel the same way. It's all about me and my happiness. And if that's the case, then okay, you do what you got to do.
Till death do us part, right? So drag yourself, dead or not, to the very end. That's what we should do. No, stop it now. In time, I eventually will speak about my entire situation, my entire marriage, but more. There's more things that I've experienced that I've shared online that people relate to, like toxic relationships with their parents, all of it. I do want to talk about it because I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm aware there's another person involved. He's not really a social media guy, and he also has a life to live too. And let's be real, we also want him to get remarried again. I will not be the reason why that man's single, okay? So we're going to just wait our time until we tell the full story. But for now, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and your cup won't be refilled out of thin air. It doesn't.
All right. So look, she mentioned the guy a little bit. It sounded like he wasn't into the whole social media thing, and obviously she was, and who knows? Maybe that was the probably start of the downward of the relationship. Maybe not. However, I don't know. But all I know is that things started to go down when she started getting big on social media, or when she started getting heavy with her use on social media. And for me, like, I look at that social media, look at, man, that thing is a toxic thing for a woman. That thing is detrimental to a woman's mindset. And for me personally, like, if I meet a woman and she's heavy on social media, for me personally, I would decide that I don't see that as a long-term play. So, but that's how she wanted to operate, and she seems to be happy with it. How long that will last, who knows? All right. But those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share it. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.